So, next installment of 6/4 chords. So this is the cadential 6/4 that we've just met. Now, because the G gets doubled, some theorists prefer to think of this chord itself as merely a decoration of the underlying basic dominant chord. And I'm one of them. I actually think that calling this a chord 1 probably overstates its function. What we've really got is just a little neighbour note to the B here. The C is a neighbour note to the B. The E is a neighbour note to the D. It's a decoration of the underlying 5. In fact, when we notate this using figured bass rather than Roman numerals, the convention is to do just that, and the convention is to show this. So we actually notate, oops, typo. We actually notate chord 5 with 6 going to 5, 4 going to 3. So it's a 6-4-5-3 progression. In other words, we're using figured bass to show that really what this is a decoration of chord 5 rather than a second inversion chord 1. So one way of telling you how to use second inversion chords is to say, never use them. There are certain cases in which, at cadences, where you might want to decorate the dominant with these two upper neighbour notes, or upper auxiliary notes. There's another common usage of the what might be described as a 6/4 chord, but might equally well be described as a decoration, and that's in the passing second inversion. And it works in a very similar way. Let me show you a passing 6/4. So I've changed the notes here. If you have a look, what's going on is what's known as a voice exchange. There's a little progression in the treble and a little progression in the bass, and basically they're swapping notes. The E goes to the bass, the C goes up to the treble, and they're essentially shifting the inversion of a tonic triad. We're going from root position to first inversion. Now, in between is a little passing note, and this is where you very often use a passing second inversion. In this case, this chord can be thought of as a second inversion of the dominant chord. It's going to be a G-B-D chord with the D in the bass, so that makes it a second inversion. But it's just a neat way of skipping between a root position and a first inversion of another chord. It fills in the gaps. Now I've given you the classic version that has the mirror image in the treble. It doesn't have to do that. As long as you've got a bass line that goes from root position to first inversion or vice versa, you can always use the second inversion passing figure, and I'll show you how it works here. The alto line, just can give it G's. You need that's the fifth of the tonic chord, and of course the root of the dominant chord. And for the tenor line, we need, what's missing effectively. We now need another C, another C here. We need a B and another C. Again, if I notate it using Roman numerals and letters to designate inversions, this is what's conventionally done. Well, I'll meet this note flight problem that doesn't let us do B's. So 1, 5C, 1B. 1 in root position, 5, chord 5 in second inversion, and chord 1 in first inversion. 1B. But as with the cadential 6/4, I prefer to think of this middle chord as it's not even a chord at all. It's just a series of harmonizing passing notes. There's just a passing note, the D, between the E and the C. Again, a passing note, the D between the E and the C and the E. And a little neighbour note, C, B, C, while the alto line just stays on the same note. So in other words, not a chord in its own right in any way. And I know it looks like a chord, but all it does is to decorate or elaborate something in between.